no, sorry. Ah, fuck. Hello guys, how's it going? Again, I'm not going to say this anymore now. This is not a video of the wheels going on. Something's happened with them. I don't really know what's going on. The tracking hasn't updated since Monday. I'm getting no response from the company. So I'm going to have to do an eBay claim as of tomorrow. Because I don't know what's really going on with that. So that's a bit of a shame. So wheel video, I've said this in pretty much every video now. I don't know when that's going to happen, so I'm not going to say it again. If you want to watch the video, which was basically me talking about what I'm going to do with the car anyway, I'm going to put it just above here. And now, on to the video today. So, as you can see, by the fact that I'm in a passenger seat, and a car that's also green, my car's had a little bit of a problem. So, what happened last night is I did an oil change, obviously filter as well as spark plug change. It's the first time I've taken the engine cover off of the car since owning it, so I've had it for approximately 2 or 3 weeks now. And actually it was all very good. No leaks. Everything underneath was really good, to be fair, which is excellent. Spark plugs went on fine. What we did find was that the spark plugs that were on there were 4 or 5 of them were OEM and very old. Potentially maybe not the original ones, but potentially ones that have been on there previously from like a BMW service. And then one was an NGK, so it's kind of suggesting to me, which is what I've kind of seen with all the car now, with various things, is that previous owner or owners have kind of cheaped out and just bought one part at a time. So say, you know, when spark plugs need doing, they've just bought one spark plug rather than doing the whole lot, which is not really very good. You shouldn't really cheap out with a car and an engine like the one I've got in mind. So they've all been replaced. And you know, equally we found that there was 3 original BMW, I think original from factory, BMW coilpacks, and there was 3 Bosch ones in there as well. So we did the oil filter change as well as the spark plugs, put it all back together, and then suddenly the car was missing. I managed to drive it about halfway or just under back to the house and had to leave it somewhere because the car wasn't really going to go much further. When I checked the codes, it was a PP0306, which says a misfire on cylinder 6, which from what I can remember, which I'll confirm with you guys soon, is one of the original BMW coilpacks on that cylinder, as well as 2 other cylinders as well. So what I've done is I've gone and picked up 6 new Bosch coilpacks, which cost me from Euro Car Parts. In fact, they were a Bosch set that I will put in the description below, and they cost me, I think it was £118 for 6, which is not too bad, but not really the best kind of thing to have when it just drops on you like that. So obviously people could say to me, oh Lewis, you could just replace the one that's, you know, that's missing on that cylinder. But like I said, with these things, with these cars, you should never skimp out, and when one fails, you should really replace the lot. You know, because to be honest with you, the other 2, at least the other 2 BMW ones, we don't know what the mileage are on the Bosch ones, but we know that they're probably going to fail, so it's just worth replacing the whole lot, which is what I'm going to do today. So leading up to this anyway, which was yesterday, the car, since I bought it, has always had an occasional bit of hesitation at lower revs. In the past week, when I've started it, it's had a bit of a misfire and kind of leveled itself back out, but it hasn't been running 100%. It's been a bit jumpy, been a bit laggy, and haven't really managed to get to the bottom of what it was. You know, which is why we did the oil change, why we did the spark plugs, because they were well overdue anyway. You know, so hopefully the problem that we were having will be sorted today. So this video today is basically a engine cover removal and ignition cord change on a BMW E87 130i. Here we are then, guys. So I've just cleared the code off. And it's time to dismantle part of the cowling to get to the engine. So the aim is to get this cover off, obviously. So what we're going to do in my case is remove this, obviously, for me. Most guys don't have this, so that's got to come off. And then the aim is to remove all of this cowling so we can get to the engine to get the cover off and do all like that. So guys, there's no particular order in doing this, apart from obviously getting it all off. So what I find good to do first is to pull this tray out. So just give it a nice little wiggle, and while you do that, just give it a pull towards you, and it'll slide out. Just drop that down like that. Behind here, there's 3 clips that will come off as well to release this pipe on top of here, and this pipe here just pulls out like so. Next we're going to remove all of the 8mm screws, which are down there as well, and in here, for the panel filter. A video is going to come up above now of how to replace your panel filter. So next guys, remove all the 8mm screws out of the panel filter for removal, 2 there on either side, same on here, and 2 there as well. Obviously bear in mind I did a video on this, so above now will be the video of how to change a panel filter. Next thing to do is to remove these sensors to make sure they're not damaged. So this one's a pop out, like so, like that, but obviously what you need to do is remove this first so it comes out, then undo all the clips along here, which you just pull off towards you. On this side, this sensor I can do with one hand, this sensor you just twist, there we go, and then it comes out. And then you pull the clips through, you just want to hang them out of the way over here. So guys, next thing to remove are these 2 covers. This one here is for the fuse box, and then the one on the other side, which is for the brake reservoir. And underneath there, you can see all these 2 modular bits here. There are 2, I think it's 8mm nuts, I'll confirm in just a minute, which are removed to then be able to take the cowling off. So they're removed by push tabs, 1 push tab on the front, 1 push tab on the rear. Also, you have this, you want to pull up and out of the way as well, which is your little rubber bungs on the other side, put them out of the way. That also to help you line it all back up at the end as well. And here is your 8mm, there's one on the other side, to remove those both. So now you can now lift this up like this. What we'll do now, you can lift it up, is pull this down, which you originally removed, and to pull this hose out like that. So lift it up, pull this down, look, see what I'm moving, pull this out of here. Then this whole piece is ready to remove. Just lift it up and pull towards you, and it will come out like so. Next, you want to use a torque to get at all of these and to get them off. This does stay here in the way, but you can move it to get around it. But here it is, the engine as it is. So they are T55s. Once they're all removed, mine's only got 4, you should have 5. Once they're all removed, the engine cover can then come off, and you'll obviously slide it out towards you. So this metal trim here guys is what helps to hold on the engine cover to the engine. It's just got rubber bungs. It does get in the way of taking out cylinder 1 and cylinder 5, so just pull it up. Pull it up, I think. There you go. A bit of force and it'll just pop off. That one's needing a bit more force, I think. So here's a perfect example of how it's meant to work. You're meant to pull the flap and it will push the plug out like that, leaving a nice gap to remove the plug and pull it out. If you struggle, you can use a lever bar through here, or a bar of some sort, pressure it up against here and use that to lever it out, because it can get quite stiff. So that's what you want to do. Pull up the flaps. This one's difficult. There you go, see, that one's an example of how it doesn't happen. You pull the flap up and the plug stays in. You just want to basically go from left and right to loosen it out, and maybe use a bit of a flathead just to apply light pressure in there to work it out. Another top tip is to remove the caps to give you better access to the top of the ignition coil to slide it out. So you can wiggle these off and then apply a flathead in there, and that'll pull the plug off. Alright guys, so there's some obvious checks you can do while you're doing this as well. So what you want to check out first is to make sure that your oil filter isn't leaking. Check the housing as well, make sure you haven't got any leaks down the side of here. Obviously check over the engine and make sure the head cover ain't leaking, and equally as well, not that you can see inside mine in a minute, but check inside here. N52s are common for leaks all over, so you want to make sure you haven't got any oil inside your spark plug sockets, obviously all of those hiding in there. The other one as well is you want to take out this sensor, I forgot the name of it, but you want to remove that sensor and make sure there's no oil in there as well. I think it's the eccentric shaft sensor, I don't know 100%, but that's the one you want to remove, make sure there's no oil in there. So obviously guys, really it's worth checking your spark plugs at this time as well. We did mine yesterday, so even though he's been running a bit rough, they're going to be more than fine, I would imagine. it's probably worth checking and replacing your spark plugs if they need doing as well. But that is it from me. That is a video of how to disassemble the engine bay to be able to do a coil pack change or spark plugs or other things like that. Alright guys, so that turned out to be a bit of a disaster. So actually what happened is, and this is being recorded days later, is actually one of the coil packs was put in, but it was the plug was put in loose, so that was what the actual misfiring problem was. It wasn't any of the ignition coils. The ignition coils that I was meant to fit, in the previous videos you've watched for the instructional tour of how to do, were the wrong ones, so I had to put the original ones back in and take them back to Euros where I got them from for a replacement. Subsequently I've ordered the correct ones, which I will, again like I mentioned, I'll put a link below on the video for those and how much they cost, and then put them in, and the car has been noticeably better since then. So the misfire problem was actually the coil packs. It was down to us not putting a plug back in very well, or a plug being loose, but now that's been done, the general running of the car is really good. So I just thought I'd update you guys about what that actually was. So actually the car didn't really fail on me. We kind of didn't really plug one of the ignition coils back in, so yeah, lessons learned. So thank you guys for watching that video about how to install ignition coils onto a 130i E87. I'm now recording this literally, I think it's about 4 or 5 days later, so the video should have been posted up a lot earlier, but it has been done. But I'm going to keep the clickbait title because it goes with the kind of the start of the video, which we didn't know what the problem was until I found out it was quite simple. Check everything before you put it back together, especially with my car, because by the time you put everything back on, if you have made a mistake, you've got to take it all back off, and it's rather annoying.